What's up, football fans? Big Al here on this Wednesday, September 11th, 2024, and welcome into the Week 3 college football television schedule and all the announcers for every game being televised this week. This info is courtesy of 506sports.com. Just log on to www.506sports.com and then tap the college football tab on the home screen, and there's the entire schedule with all the announcers of every game this week. Alright, so let's jump into it. We have a couple games on Thursday, a couple games on Friday, and your full day of action on Saturday. So let's get into it. Starting off on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN, you've got Arizona State at Texas State with Matt Berry and Dan Mullen. And streaming on ESPN Plus at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific is Northwestern State at South Alabama, and there is no broadcast team announced for that one. Then on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPN, UNLV visits Kansas. Anish Shroff and Andre Ware. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Fox, number 20 Arizona at number 14 Kansas State with Tim Brando and Devin Gardner. Moving on to Saturday, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games starting at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. ABC has number 16 LSU at South Carolina, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. On Fox's Big Noon Saturday, it's number 4 Alabama at Wisconsin, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. On ESPN, you've got Memphis at Florida State, Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick. On ESPN2, you've got number 13 Oklahoma State at Tulsa with Beth Mowins and Rod Gilmore. On FS1, it's North Texas at Texas Tech with Dan Hellie and Petros Papadakis. On ESPNU, you've got Cincinnati at Miami of Ohio with Matt Schumacher and Dustin Fox. On BTN, it's Arkansas State at number 17 Michigan, Jeff Levering and Jake Butt. On the ACC network, it's Louisiana Tech at NC State with George Sedano and Orlando Franklin. And streaming exclusively on Peacock at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific is Central Michigan at Illinois with Jack Collinsworth and Michael Robinson. Then at 12:45 p.m. Eastern, 9:45 a.m. Pacific on the SEC network is number 24 Boston College at number 6 Missouri, Taylor Zarzar and Matt Stinchcomb. At 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Network is Massachusetts at Buffalo, Jordan Kent and Logan Ryan. Streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific is Coastal Carolina at Temple with Richard Cross and Barrett Brooks. Then at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific on CNBC, you have Morehouse versus Howard being played at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and there is no broadcast team announced for that game. That brings us to the late afternoon portion of the schedule, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. On ABC, it's Texas A&M at Florida with Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer. On the Home Depot Big Ten on CBS, it's number 18 Notre Dame at Purdue with Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. On Fox, it's number 9 Oregon at Oregon State with Jason Benetti and Brock Huard. On ESPN, it's Tulane at number 15 Oklahoma with Dave Pasch and Dusty Dvorak. On ESPN2, it's the Backyard Brawl as West Virginia visits Pittsburgh with Mike Monaco and Kirk Morrison. Then you'll have 2 games of regional interest on BTN. Some will see Prairie View A&M at Michigan State with Mark Followell and Anthony Herron. Others will see Nevada at Minnesota with Lisa Byington and Brock Vereen. On the ACC network, it's Ball State at number 10 Miami, Chris Cotter and Mark Herzlich. At 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN Plus and ACC Network Extra is VMI at Georgia Tech with Sean Kenny and Forrest Connolly. Streaming on Peacock at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific is Washington State and Washington, and it looks like they're playing this game at Lumen Field in Seattle, as the Huskies are the technical home team in this game. It will be called by Paul Burmeister and Colt McCoy. And streaming on ESPN Plus at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific is Morgan State at Ohio University, Michael Reggie and Marcus Ray. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on FS1 is Troy at Iowa, Eric Collins and Spencer Tillman. On ESPNU at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific is Appalachian State at East Carolina, Mike Corey and Renee Igogila. At 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific on the SEC network is UAB at Arkansas, Dave Neal and Aaron Murray. On CS Sports Network at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific is number 12 Utah at Utah State, Dave Ryan and Robert Turbin. Then you'll have 8 games at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and the first 2 games will be streaming on ESPN Plus and televised on ACC Network Extra. You've got Connecticut at Duke with Clay Matvick and Steve Adazio. I always screw his name up. And then the other game is North Carolina Central at North Carolina with Kevin Fitzgerald and Charlie Strong. The remaining games are streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus, including Colgate at Akron with Anthony Lima and Ryan Kavanaugh, Florida International at Florida Atlantic with AJ Ricketts and Leger Duzable, Gardner Webb at Charlotte with James Westland and Reggie Walker. Then there's Virginia Tech at Old Dominion with Chip Tarkenton and Andy Mashaw. And the other 2 games are South Carolina State at Georgia Southern and UTEP at Liberty. There are no broadcast teams announced for those 2 games. Following that at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on the CW is number 5 Ole Miss at Wake Forest with Tom Brenneman and Max Brown. And streaming on ESPN Plus at that same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, Bethune-Cookman at Western Michigan with Noel Reed and Taylor McHargway. Now to the evening portion of the schedule. You will have 7 games on at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. On ESPN, you have UTSA at number 2 Texas with Mark Jones and Roddy Jones. On True TV, it's Kennesaw State at San Jose State with Ari Wolf and Darius Walker. and the rest of the games are streaming on ESPN Plus. You've got Jacksonville State at Eastern Michigan, which will be called by Doug Sherman and Teoka Jackson. And the remaining 4 games have no announcers. At least no broadcasters announced. That includes Hawaii at Sam Houston, South Florida at Southern Miss, Vanderbilt at Georgia State, and Western Kentucky at Middle Tennessee. And then you will have 9 more games kicking off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. On ABC's Saturday Night Football, it's number 1 Georgia at Kentucky with Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. On CBS, you've got Colorado at Colorado State with Rich Waltz and Ross Tucker. On Fox, it's UCF at TCU, Connor Onion and Mark Helfrich. On Big Ten Saturday night on NBC, it's Indiana at UCLA with Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge. On ESPN2, New Mexico at Auburn, Roy Philpott and Sam Acho. On FS1 is Air Force at Baylor with Alex Faust and Robert Smith. On ESPNU is Toledo at Mississippi State with Jay Alter and Rocky Boyman. And you'll have 2 more games of regional interest on BTN at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Some will see Northern Iowa at number 25 Nebraska, or rather number 23 Nebraska, with Guy Haberman and Yogi Roth. Others will see Eastern Illinois at Northwestern with Jason Ross Jr. and Matt Millen. At 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific on the SEC Network, Kent State at number 7 Tennessee, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelic. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the ACC Network is Maryland at Virginia, West Durham, and Tom Luganville. Streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus, it's the Battle of the Space City as Rice visits Houston with Lowell Galindo and Fozzie Whitaker. At 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Network is BYU at Wyoming, Carter Blackburn and Randy Cross. The final 2 games of the night are at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. On ESPN, it's San Diego State at California with Dave Fleming and Brock Osweiler. And on True TV, it's New Mexico State at Fresno State with J.B. Long and Mike Golick Jr. And that is the Week 3 college football television schedule and the announcers for every game this weekend. We do this every Wednesday. Join me next week for the Week 4 college football television schedule. Alright, coming up for the rest of the week, we have our NFL picks straight up and against the spread, plus the Week 1 injury report heading into Thursday Night Football between the Bills and Dolphins. Those videos will drop tomorrow, and then we'll have the full injury report for the remaining games on the Week 2 NFL schedule. That drops on Friday, so join me for both of those. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.